Hey, listen to Wrestling Roundup, FreeFM 89.0. As always, I'm Grady, and live on Skype we got Josh.
Hey,
Super crystal clear this time. Uh, I don't know, where are we going to start off on Raw? I'm going to start off with the weird. Let's start off with Nia Jax and Enzo Amore.
and I had a major facepalm moment when that happened. I'm like, you've held her off TV for several weeks now, just to bring her back with a thing for Enzo Amore.
By the sounds of it, I don't know if it's a permanent, but she's at least taken up fixture on 205 Live for a little while. I think the 205 Live events that they announced, one of the matches is going to be Kalisto versus Enzo Amore with Naya Jax as the special guest ref. So this ain't going anywhere quickly.
Nope. Much to my annoyance.
It's much to my confusion. I don't understand why we went this path with her. I feel like
I guess
even
it might be just to keep her out of any possible situation with Asuka for a while.
Yeah, we went from having a stare down with Tamina being so impactful to giving winky faces to Enzo Amore. A bit of a shift, but yeah, we'll keep posted on that and hope like hell maybe this is one of those ideas that gets dropped halfway through. We'll stick in the women's division. Paige, she wins her first match back in more than a year.
Well, they're definitely building Apple's solution to something.
But where can they go?
I'm not sure, but it involves Asuka in some weird way that may not involve them actually clashing. So it would be a kind of would be interesting if Asuka joined forces with Paige.
It seems for the time being, it's just a them against the entire division. Probably some 6-woman tag matches, but Asuka keeps interacting with Absolution. It's almost like they're on a warpath, but they're slightly avoiding Asuka in terms of a confrontation. So I don't quite know what they're going to do. As you said, teaming up could bring an end to the entire division. It would be over, full stop. Nobody's got any hope if that happens. But as it is, it's different at the moment. And we get to see a little more of Sonya and Mandy. So, yeah. I think you weren't here last week when we talked about their 6-woman tag match, but do you have high hopes for these two?
I do, but I have more hopes for the Riot Squad members, especially one in particular.
Yep. It's going to be a case since they came up so quickly. You know, the groups of 3 are going to be constantly compared. The call-ups are constantly going to be compared. And there's going to be one that comes out on the right side of history in terms of remembering that they exist. And then the other ones will just end up being fodder in a Women's Royal Rumble match.
It's very possible that the two groups may become one. And it may have been Paige's idea all along.
I expected that from day one, just because of how simple it was. I've slowly avoided that as a realization. I wanted it originally, and now that I've seen what the Riot Squad can do as their own separate group, I kind of want them to stay their own separate group. But I think at Royal Rumble there will be some form of face-off, some form of a collision between the two groups, and possibly some revelations there. I don't entirely know. Intercontinental Championship. We got Roman Reigns carrying around the title. Jason Jordan wants a shot. Samoa Joe wants a shot. The division is heating up.
Yeah, Roman's definitely taken what Miz has done with the title and has furthered it with what he's doing with Joe and Jordan, because it's now the main thing for Raw, and you can argue it could possibly even be greater than the Universal Championship.
I think when the Universal Championship doesn't show up 29 days out of the month, yeah, I think it's quite easy to say that the Intercontinental Championship is being focused on more and it's not necessarily, obviously with Reigns and Joe, it is your top tier guys, but putting Jason Jordan in with the mix there, you're giving him essentially experience at the top of the card without putting him in the Universal Championship picture, the de facto top of the card. But we'll wait and see. I think still the Jason Jordan, Kurt Angle, Triple H thing is still boiling over. We'll have to wait and see when that explodes. What else we got here? We don't really talk about the Cruiserweights all too much. Let's talk about the Cruiserweights a little bit here. Enzo Amore, he's got his group. I believe they're called the Zo Train, because surely we can't come up with a better name than that. And we've put Drew Gulak in charge. Now, I don't know, do you watch 205 Live?
Occasionally. It's not often. Depends on if I'm bored enough or not. But yeah, they are Zo Train. It'd be very interesting to see if Gulak wins next week, although it's probably pretty obviously going to be Swan. But to see what they would do in a situation where Gulak had to face Amore.
Obviously Hideo Itami on the horizon for the Cruiserweights at the moment, but the match that stood out to me on 205 Live was Cedric Alexander versus Noam Dar. Noam Dar is in the Zo Train group, and essentially anytime he tried to climb the ropes or do anything high-flying, Drew would step in and make sure that he's not betraying the Zo Train, and the no-fly zone gimmick has become quite over, and it eventually cost him the match, so it's possible that it ends up being Drew Enzo in the future, where Enzo gets a little mad that Drew's costing all of his members the matches. I don't think it'll be the next championship match, but it could be a bit of a slow burn one to that.
It's very possible. Drew is surprisingly over. His PowerPoint's getting cut all the time is absolutely hilarious.
Yep. He's got the comedy in him, and that's great. I think it's what's working in his favor, and I think it's why he's been featured as much as he has been.
Yeah, just imagine, a year ago we said none of the guys had personality. Now we have several guys in the division that are showing that they have personalities, or are Enzo and just is a walking, talking catchphrase.
Yep. But that's all he needs to be. We also got a championship match. The Shield, or Rollins and Ambrose to be more apt, took on Cesaro and Sheamus for the tag team titles.
Very interesting. There are several ways you could interpret the ending. One of which could be a possible way to break up the Shield with an Ambrose heel turn.
Let's break them up like a month after we only just reformed them.
Yeah. The way in which it would be done would be, you could look at it like Roman accidentally cost them the tag titles, even though he was really just dealing with Samoa Joe. It could look at it as a distraction costing his brethren their shot at the titles.
Yeah.
As well as it's a nonchalant shot that he had when he successfully defended his title and said, "Okay, boys, now it's your turn."
Yeah. There's definitely hints and stuff that's been laid out. I don't expect the trio to stay together for too long. You know, it's cool to regroup them, but you don't want to stick around or it's just going to get boring. And yeah, I don't think it's going to be Seth that flips on them again. I don't think we're going to get a repeat. So it's going to be Ambrose if it's going to be anyone. I expect a 6-man tag next week if it isn't already announced. Braun Strowman, he decided to kill Elias and then have a bit of a conversation with Kane.
Yeah, poor Elias. He came out to sing and then got absolutely annihilated. And next week we're going to have a last monster standing match.
It's interesting. I expected them to clash at a pay-per-view. So flicking a stipulation in this early, a little interesting.
It may just be because they don't have a pay-per-view until the Royal Rumble.
It's a little harsh in timing. But we'll wait and see. I think I think that's everything except for the one big thing. So we'll throw to the big topic. 1.4 million views right now on YouTube. Matt Hardy finally did it. He finally broke or woke.
Yeah, it'll be woken so that WWE can own this particular gimmick, while Matt can own the broken gimmick and use it wherever he wants to.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
It's close enough. It works. The gimmick is still the same.
Yeah, and I think Bray has finally run into somebody who is crazier than he is.
I honestly
and
think
not
this
even
is going to help him.
close.
Yeah. Bray flounders a lot, and I think finally having someone like this on the roster to go up against is only going to raise his stock. And maybe we get to see Bray do something, putting it that way. But I'm interested to see what goes on from here. I want to see what happens with Jeff. I don't know how much Impact is let go in terms of King Maxwell and Senor Benjamin and all this extra stuff. Vanguard 1, and at the moment it sounds like I'm just trying to be hip and list everything. I'm trying off the top of my head. I'm trying my hardest. But I'm interested to see how much of that WWE incorporates and how crazy they let Matt go. And with this promo, I'm hoping that is going to be fairly damn crazy.
Yeah, just think, the most important wrestler on SmackDown and what could be one of the biggest storylines in the company are thanks to Impact Wrestling.
Yeah.
We have AJ over on SmackDown, and we have the woken Matt Hardy storyline.
It's a real... Whenever you talk about Impact or you talk about TNA or whatever you want to call it at this point, Anthem and everything else, they had some great things. They built some really good gimmicks. They built some really good wrestlers. They gave a lot of people some chances, but they also trusted the wrong people and made some really bad decisions and made some really bad characters. And ultimately, that's what everyone's going to remember them for. It's rough, but that's the way it goes. That whole LOL TNA meme is never going to leave them, no matter how many times they rebrand and how many times they try to be the good guys. And it kind of sucks for them, but, you know, sorry. What are we going to do about it? Thanks for the gimmick. So, we're going to play our theme song of the week. Do you want to explain why you picked it? I kind of skirted over the issue last week, not necessarily spilling out the spoilers.
It's because they won the tag titles.
It's a good reason. And that's why we'll be playing the Undisputed Era's NXT theme. Undisputed. What great naming skills they have. And you're back with Wrestling Roundup, FreeFM 89.0, Grady and Josh. That was the Undisputed Era's theme from NXT, and now we're going to roll straight into the SmackDown side of things. Again, where do we start here? Just because I know you want to get it out of the way, Bludgeon Brothers were still dominating some jobbers. They got some big sledgies.
Yeah, it was alright. I honestly think they're crazier now than they ever were with Bray.
I think they're out of Bray's shadow. I feel like a lot when it was the Wyatt family, it's the Wyatt family. Being allowed to go on their own, per se, obviously they're still in a tag team. Every time they've had away from Wyatt, they've been able to shine, whether that's Eric Rowan and his solo thing with the Super Genius Rubik's Cube, or Luke Harper on his own, and at the moment with the Bludgeon Brothers, they've had a lot of good experience and really shown what they can do when they're not branded as just followers of this other guy.
So, we'll see. Maybe they'll have something for them. It's just such a shame that they're wasting a couple people that could be great in singles, especially Luke, is just defaulting to their tag team.
Yeah. Baron Corbin, Bobby Roode, Dolph Ziggler, the triple threat match for the United States Championship. Dear God, please don't let Ziggler win.
No, he's there to take the fall.
Thank
so
God.
that Bobby Roode won't.
I just need you to say that to me like 100 times.
That's Ziggler's only purpose. He will take the fall. No matter who wins the match, Ziggler will not.
Yeah, I am tossing up on whether Bobby will pin Ziggler or whether Baron will pin Ziggler here. Could go either way. I'll have to wait until, I want to say a little close to the event, but the event isn't that far away. We got one more SmackDown before Clash of Champions. The women's division. We talked a little about the Riot Squad already. They're doing things. Not too many in-ring things, but they're doing things. With 2 T's. Let's not fall into copyright territory. 2 T's.
Yep. I think it's an interesting name to pun off of Ruby Riot, make it seem like she's the leader of the faction.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just their interactions with the welcoming committee, quotation marks, were interesting. And I'm really hoping that Sarah Logan has success in WWE.
I know you are. I knew as soon as she debuted, Josh was going to want to talk about this. I feel like you were mentioning her as she got signed. You were like, I am excited that she got signed.
She was born about 250 miles or so from where I live. So it's another state, so I can't claim it as technically as a state thing, but it's an area thing.
Yeah, it's close enough. I'm hoping. I don't know what her natural talking voice is, but from her interactions in the promos, it seems like we're going with a very heavy southern thing here. I'm hoping that isn't laid on too thick in the future, as in, I don't want that to be the basis of her gimmick, but I'll have to wait and see. Obviously, at the moment, she's the muscle of the group.
And in the past, she has a thing to be crazy, so that's a thing.
Some people would say that it was crazy was her first name.
Yeah.
I'm trying to avoid it, but I'm looking at this and I can't avoid it any longer. I'm looking at Rusev's face. He looks so elated that Rusev Day has now been added to the SmackDown Tag Team title match.
I vote Rusev Day to win the tag titles.
I want them to continue adding people to this match just so I can see Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable react on the WWE.com exclusives, because they're amazing in that part where they're backstage and they're just talking and being comedic. Really hoping that next week we add someone else. Just keep adding them. Never stop. Add someone on the day. I don't care. If I am looking at the people in the match, obviously the Usos, the New Day, Benjamin and Gable, and Rusev Day, always going to tilt towards Rusev Day. You can't fault them. Everybody else sort of had a go except for Benjamin and Gable, but I'm still putting my money on Rusev Day.
Yeah, I'm really happy for Aiden English though.
Mm-hmm.
He's gone through a lot this year. Got buried pretty badly. That term gets thrown around so badly, but for Aiden English, it was true.
Yeah.
And he's come out on the other side with Rusev, who's had issues all year. And now they appears that they're doing something with them heading into the next year.
Yeah, Aiden English was honestly like on the list of people you never expected to do anything. Obviously after
he was on the list of they future endeavored him yet?
Mm-hmm. And they still haven't. They probably won't for a long time. Are we down to the main event? I'm doing a skim. Nope, we've also got Mojo Rawley, Zack Ryder. They finally broke him up. You can go back to enjoying just Mojo Rawley.
Woo!
I tried to pass your excitement last week, but I just can't. I'm not that
wish
elated.
I would have been. It made me really, really wish I could have been there when they broke them up last week.
Yeah.
Because you would have heard me cheer over the crowd booing.
Yeah, Yeah, you've always had a disdain for Zack Ryder. And now you're gonna just be another internet person cheering for the heel in this feud. Way to be a sheep. Coming out of this, I am definitely more excited about Mojo going singles again. I honestly didn't understand why we put him back with Zack Ryder. I'm very much in your court where I can't care too much about what Zack Ryder does. He's done a lot. Let's move on. I'm more caring about the rookie, the new guy, and interested to see what we do with Mojo going forward after this feud, unless this is going to be another feud that's dragged out for 6 months, which I wouldn't put past them. Never put past WWE. What are we at? We're at the main event, and the fallout of the main event. Randy Orton versus Sami Zayn. Oh, sorry. Yep. And then there was a lot that happened. Essentially, skipping to the end, we now have a match. Randy Orton and Shinsuke Nakamura. They will take on Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. It's a tag team match with Shane McMahon as the special guest referee. And if Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn lose, they'll be fired. How's Daniel Bryan gonna cheat this for them?
Who knows? I definitely think it would be very interesting if they did have Daniel Bryan turn heel during the storyline. Personally, I want a Rogue Ref storyline to help KO and Sami Zayn. I want somebody to literally be the modern day version of a Nick Patrick or Bill Alfonso or Danny Davis or Little Nate Charles Robinson.
Yeah.
Which they could still do with him, but
yeah.
It wouldn't make as much sense, but...
Yeah, I can see a couple things here. Though, everything I say from now on out is just going to be nothing but rumors. I think people want it so much that the rumors are starting to swirl around Daniel Bryan. Obviously his contract coming up soon, potentially being cleared in the future. May or may not happen. Be interesting if it did, and I feel like if it did, this is the way to do it. Nice little slow burn, people wouldn't expect it. Everybody would go insane if he came out during this match, looked like he was going to side with the good guys, instead decked Shane McMahon, put on the ref shirt, counted the 3 for Zayn and Owens, and then raised their hands, and then next week had a match in a 6-man tag match. People would go nuts. But health comes first.
Yeah, who knows? There's so much information out there that you can never really be truly sure.
Yeah, especially at the moment. I'm just looking at a front page, and there's already so much stuff. Vince McMahon gives full creative freedom to Matt Hardy. You never know. Maybe this is one of those insane stories that is true. Maybe this is one of those insane stories that has not an ounce of truth to it. But the one I would like to talk about, Ronda Rousey. WWE supposedly finalizing details of her move to pro wrestling. What are the odds?
Should anybody really be surprised?
Yeah, I feel like it definitely would have made a much bigger impact had she not lost. But yeah, it was gonna happen eventually. I'm surprised it happened this early. I kind of expected we had another year in it, but we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, that's all we got time for this week. It's been great talking to you.
Bye.
You can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/wrestlingradio, Twitter page, twitter.com/wrestlingradio. And we'll see you next week.